Hey, what's up guys? In today's video I wanted to talk about what I'm doing for reading in Spanish. I'm starting to read more now, especially since later on in this year I'm going to be traveling more and I want to be able to actually read stuff like when I see them like in text and stuff like that. Right now I'm focusing more on kind of getting more comprehensible input like through listening. But yeah, I feel like reading is a really big help. I got these like graded readers by Ollie Richards. I'll put a description box in the box below. For these books. They're graded between like A2 to B1, B1 to B2. So they're like simple stories. They have like 5 pages per chapter, so it's pretty simple to read. And what I do is, you can see I already read a bit of this one already. What I do is I just take the book and I put it on my bed like this. And that way whenever I go to bed, I usually just pick up the book and I have to actually physically move it. So like it kind of is like this atomic habit. Like you put it on your bed, so you have to actually move it. So it's like a bit of resistance to like having to move it out of the way. So you kind of just pick it up and then just start reading it. But yeah, I just want to talk about why I'm starting to read more now. I did read a bunch before, like around 70,000 words. And it was with this book actually, this exact book. I read around like 1,000 hours of input, like listening input. And I could tell this was a lot harder at that time, especially now that I have more hours of input. But yeah, now I can read this kind of just like much more simply, just from getting more input in general, which is pretty cool. I didn't have to like read too much, but yeah, I did look into some ways of trying to like make reading a little bit easier. So yeah, having physical books I think are the easiest because you can just like plop them down wherever and you just end up picking them up and reading them, just because it's like harder to move them out the way than to actually actually to read the book. So what I do is I usually read like one chapter. This has like 5 pages per chapter, so I just pick it up, I read one chapter and then just put it away. And it kind of adds up after some time. Like after a week or so, you end up reading like a good chunk of the book. So it's pretty cool. I think physical books are really good for building a habit, especially if you're getting started in reading, which is kind of what I want to do. And I saw that like each one of these books, at least, they're like around 30,000 words, just around 30,000 words per book. So it's pretty cool. Like you get 100,000, just around 100,000 words just from getting these books, so you can get your first 100K, which is always the hardest, especially when you're starting out. I did also read a bit of short stories on Link and also readlang.com, but the stories are not that interesting, so I ended up kind of just like not reading too much on them. I know you can get the Link subscription, so you can read like more interesting stories and like they have more catalog and stuff. But just I haven't gotten around to getting it. There's also the Libby app, which is connected to your local library. So you just download this app called Libby, and it connects directly to your local library. You put in like your library card number, and you can take out whatever you want from like your local library, as long as they have the e-format version of that book, which is pretty cool. So it's like completely free, like a free option of reading more books. The only problem is that usually the catalog for foreign language books, at least in US, is really, really small. So there's like almost 100,000 books in normal, like in just English, and there's like only a catalog of like 1,000 books in Spanish, so it's not as much. So a lot of books that you really want to read, they might not be there. And also there's books like Harry Potter, which are really famous, and like they're in Spanish, like they're in the catalog, but a lot of people check them out. You can only take out like 10 versions of the ebook at a time from the library, so the library will only lend out 10 versions of that ebook. So if 10 other people already have that book, you have to like put yourself on the wait list. Another thing I checked out was the Kindle app. So you can download the Kindle app on like any device that you have. So you can do it on your phone. If you have a tablet, you can use that on tablet. Or if you have the actual Kindle device, like you can read ebooks from there. I did look into getting a Kindle, but I don't know if it's worth it at this point. Just because I can kind of just read on my phone if I'm going to start using like the Kindle app in general, or just Kindle books, and just pay the subscription and just start using that for now. The good thing about the Kindle app is that you have like thousands of books. You can kind of read whatever you want, and it's pretty nice because you only pay a subscription per month, and then you get this huge catalog, and they usually have lots of deals. So there's usually like the first month free. They give like half off for students and stuff. The only disadvantage is that there are some stuff like these books. I noticed that these Ollie Richards books, they're not on there. I thought about the difference between like digital books and physical books. For now, I think I'll stick with just reading physical books. up until a certain point, to where I get kind of comfortable and I can just start reading more digitally, because it's just more portable in general. Like, I don't want to have to lug around books with me while I'm traveling and stuff, or while I'm, out and about and stuff. And it's pretty nice that you can cancel at any point. So another thing to think about is that Kindle Unlimited is $10 a month, around $10 a month. And usually if you buy one book, it's usually around $10 depending on the book. So if you read more than one book a month, then it's kind of worth it to get a Kindle. Or if you really like that accessibility of having to, like, being able to have it portably anywhere, I think then having a Kindle, or using the Kindle app in general, is pretty useful. I did want to talk about some of the benefits that I noticed from reading more. I feel that reading more actually has helped me with speaking because of like self-vocalization and stuff. So there's like this theory that when you read something, you sub-vocalize like the actual words when you read them out. So I think that, at least for me, it helps. Like, whenever I see a word that's like kind of long and I haven't like read it before, I'll actually read it out. And it's helped me a lot for getting used to saying like longer words, especially in Spanish, that I'm not really used to. That being said, I don't think it's necessary for you to read to be able to speak your target language. There's a lot of people that can speak, but they can't read in their target language, and they can speak perfectly, like they have great accent and everything. So I don't think it's necessarily important to start reading, but it does help a lot. It builds like a lot of vocabulary. At least books have like certain vocabulary that are specified to, like, I don't know, the way that author talks, or the subject of whatever they're talking about in that book. And one of the biggest things for me is that I really want to be able to read stuff while I travel, and I don't know, be able to read like bulletins and stuff like that while I'm traveling, or read like places on Google Maps. But yeah, that's about it. I want to know what you guys think about reading. Are you guys reading a lot? Are you starting to read, or are you just focusing on input? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.